Betty is an excellent cook, but she's a terrible driver. Fred will take care of the kids in the afternoon.
Go straight along this road and turn right at the traffic light. Our office is closed on Sundays and public holidays.
Ted has a strong sense of responsibility.
Is this the right train for Cambridge?
Kathy is dating a nice guy from Australia. They stayed in a corner room with an ocean view.
I suppose every neighborhood has someone like him.
Mike is like his father in many ways.
The situation is now under control.
Thank you for everything.
Glad to be of help.
He's not at his desk right now. I think he's in a meeting.
The number of guests is about 50 a day on average.
A number of plans are currently under consideration.
This article contains plenty of useful tips on gardening.
We produce various types of furniture. I'm out of the country on business till Friday night.
Bill retired in 2003 partly because of ill health.
Max, get out from under the table.
The farewell party lasted until after midnight.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes by so quickly.
Steve not only cooks but does the dishes as well. Everyone has both strengths and weaknesses.
He's not a child anymore.
But he isn't an adult either.
Pat is never late for an appointment. She is seldom home on weekends.
I don't feel very well. I don't have much appetite.
Joe doesn't take life seriously enough.
Honestly, I didn't like her at first.
Neither did I.
Steve is very patient and rarely or never gets angry. Students must not enter staff rooms without permission.
Mike, you shouldn't leave the table during the meal.
I can't and won't put up with it any longer.
There is no entrance fee for this event. Sandy has no children or close relatives. No two individuals are exactly alike.
Nobody's perfect, except me.
There's nothing between Joe and me.
None of them doubted Ted's leadership.
This park has few trees and therefore little shade.
Mr. Sato works late with hardly any days off.
Not all information on the internet is accurate.
After all, we can't do everything by ourselves.
It's either one or the other. You can't have both.
Reputation doesn't always match reality.
Is this common in Britain?
No, it's relatively rare.
Can you give me a hand?
Sure. What's up? Does anyone agree with me, or do you all disagree? Did you pay for it yourself?
Yep.
Aren't you sleepy yet?
No, I'm not.
You paid for it yourself?
Nope.
You mean I've got to do this all over again?
It's horrible weather, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful.
I said something stupid, didn't I?
No, not in the least. You will stay in touch, won't you?
Of course I will. I'm not interrupting you, am I?
Not at all.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Yes, it does. We can't miss this opportunity, can we?
No one really believes in fairies, do they?
That was interesting, wasn't it? That was interesting, wasn't it?
See, I'm good at baseball, right?
There you go again. Give me a break, will you? Come in and take a seat, won't you?
I'm relying on you, so don't let me down, okay?
Let's take a look inside, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Where can I park? Where's the nearest parking lot? When does the next flight to Bangkok depart?
Just out of curiosity, why did they break up?
How do you spell and pronounce hello in Spanish?
Why don't you try it on for size? Why not try it on for size? Why don't we share a taxi and split the fare? How old is this wine?
Let's see. It's 20 years old.
How often do you exercise?
Every other day.
How far is it from your workplace?
How much do you like school on a scale of 1 to 5?
Joe, how tall are you and how high can you jump?
How many inquiries do you receive per month?
How much water should I add to the mixture?
How many people attended the workshop?
How many in your party?
4. What's the date today? The 12th?
That's right.
What date is it today? The 12th?
That's correct.
Which are the most important documents?
What can I do for you?
I want to open an account.
Which do you prefer, American movies or foreign ones?
Which credit cards do you accept?
What kind of ingredients do you use? What's this line for?
No idea. I'm new here. What brought you here?
I'm here on vacation.
Which bus goes to the airport? What number is it?
Who is it?
It's me, Frederick.
Hi, Fred. Come on in.
So, who else did you see at the reunion?
Who do you usually fly with?
American Airlines.
Who does the laundry in your household? Whose fault is that, yours or Kathy's?
It's not mine or hers.
Then whose is it?
Nick asked himself, for whom do corporations exist?
How do you manage stress?
I take a long bath. I'm a pharmacist. What do you do?
An egg floats in salt water but sinks in fresh water.
What are you doing, Mike?
I'm feeding the ants.
Are you free on Friday?
No, I have a date.
The exhibition takes place from April 20th to May 2nd.
You look pale. What's wrong?
I have a headache. What's that noise?
What noise? I don't hear anything. Are you listening to me? I'm talking to you. I think that's unfair.
I don't think so.
Be quiet for a second. I'm thinking.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the dentist. Help! I'm falling! Wake up, Mike. It's time for school. Excuse me, I'm getting off.
Hey, you forgot your umbrella. Kathy, hurry up. We'll be late.
I'm coming.
How soon are we taking off?
In 10 minutes. I'm getting married in June.
Congratulations.
Fred graduated from law school 15 years ago. Mike hung a wet cloth in front of the fan. Ben looked pretty cute in his school uniform.
Where did you go to college?
I attended Ohio University.
Kathy and Andy lived in New York for 2.5 years.
What were you doing at this time yesterday?
I was looking after my granddaughter.
The lecture was ending when Joe got there. Pat was soon moving into an apartment close to work.
Oh no, I've lost my wallet. What should I do?
Kathy has just returned from her trip abroad.
When will the wedding be?
We haven't decided yet.
I've only used this function once or twice. Have you ever been to Hong Kong?
Yes, I went there 10 years ago.
Haven't we met somewhere before? I've known him since childhood.
Oh, have you?
Fred has eaten nothing but fast food for a week now.
I haven't seen you for ages. How have you been?
How long have you been working for your present employer?
Lately, things haven't been going well at work.
I tried to contact him, but he had already gone home.
Betty had never heard of the author before. Hank was 65 and had had health problems for several years. Fred had been gaining weight for the last few years. Bob was a security guard for 3 years.
When Joe arrived, Pat left. When Joe arrived, Pat had left.
At 19, Bob worked as a plumber. He had dropped out of high school and left home.
There were lots of puddles. It had rained the previous night. Yes, I passed!
How wonderful for you.
What happened? Why is Ben upset?
Max is dying.
What happened to Joe? He's been working hard recently.
Where's the can opener?
It's in the second drawer from the bottom.
Ted is a fast reader. Bill gets tired easily these days. They all looked happy except for Mike.
You've become a cat person as well as a dog person?
The sky grew dark and the sea grew rough. The meat had gone bad and the bread had gone hard. Here and there, leaves are turning yellow and red.
Dogs and cats make great companions for people.
You need to keep warm, otherwise you'll catch a cold. What are your symptoms?
I keep coughing.
I hope we can remain friends for years to come. I hope we can stay friends for years to come. Just stay lying down, Hank. I'll call an ambulance.
Nick is in his 60s, but he looks young for his age.
What's the matter, Joe? You seem nervous. Try to sound smart and appear calm in an interview.
Bill seemed to lack confidence in himself. Bill appeared to lack confidence in himself.
That name sounds familiar to me for some reason. It's gone cold. Yuck, it tastes awful.
That smells delicious, Dad. Can I try some? My skin feels dry, especially in the winter.
Tom feels awkward around girls his age. According to Kathy, Andy looks like Sylvester Stallone.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
What does herring taste like? Is it similar to sardine?
Fred always gets home in time for dinner. This sort of bag is getting popular among teenage girls. This condo faces south, so it gets a lot of sunshine.
Mike, your mom wants you. She's upstairs.
Our sales have increased over the past 3 years.
Slowly increase the temperature of the oil to 370 degrees.
Ben ran in tears to his mother. Cindy once ran a second-hand clothing store.
Excuse me, do you speak English?
Ted speaks with a slight British accent. Pat and Mr. Lee are talking about marriage. Pat and Mr. Lee are discussing marriage.
Betty picked us up and dropped us off at the airport. Just hand them to me and I'll put them away.
Your music is too loud. Turn it down, will you? Ben, you have your shirt on inside out and backward.
Can you look it up on the website? Kathy, I hope you'll think it over and change your mind.
Mr. Evans, please take off your clothes and put on this gown.
You didn't throw that envelope away, did you? You didn't throw away that envelope, did you?
The doctor explained the procedure. The doctor explained the procedure to the patient.
Pat, I bought this ring for you. Won't you wear it?
I sent an email by mistake. I sent an email to you by mistake. I sent you an email by mistake.
I'll show you the way. I'm going in the same direction. Will you pass me the remote for the TV?
Here you go.
Can you lend me your notebook until tomorrow?
Haven't I been telling you this for quite a while? Mommy, please get me this! No, I won't buy you any more baseball cards.
Will you get me a couple of plates from the cupboard?
Cindy made Mike a dinosaur costume for Halloween. The interviewer asked Bob tough questions about his past.
These cost me $12 each, so you owe me $48 in total.
The hike took us nearly 5 hours as a round trip.
I wish you every success in your new job.
Cindy made Mike a dinosaur costume for Halloween.
I can't afford that. Can you make it cheaper?
I'll make you the happiest person alive. By the way, my name is Nicholas. Please call me Nick.
I think I'll go to bed early. I can hardly keep my eyes open.
Hopefully, I can get everything ready by the end of the month.
Just leave me alone for a minute. I'm exhausted. How do you like your new chair?
I find it quite comfortable.
Sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Keep the garage window closed and locked. Mike, don't leave sharp tools lying around.
Can you get this old photocopier working again?
We must get this project completed on time.
They have orders coming in from all over the country.
We're having pizza delivered for dinner tonight.
Neighbors often heard them quarreling. Suddenly, Joe heard his name called from behind. He turned around and saw Bob and Kate waving at him.
I felt someone placing a blanket on me.
I saw a new park being built next to the city hall.
Cindy told Mike to bring her a pair of scissors.
Pat asked me to say hello to all of you.
Mike, I don't want you to stay up late.
Mr. Lee, I'd like you to meet my colleague, Patricia Sanchez. Sandy, I need you to do me a favor.
Bill's doctor advised him to cut down on his drinking. Betty only allows Ben to own wooden toys such as this one.
Don't expect me to do everything. I'm not a superwoman.
Dad, I can't get this mower to start.
Sandy reminded Hank to take his medicine.
I consider myself to be a hard worker. I consider myself a hard worker.
We hope you will find our services to be of use.
We hope you will find our services of use.
Do you need it fixed now?
Yes, I want it done right away. I'd like my hair cut short.
How short would you like it?
Does this outfit make me look thin?
Yes, perhaps.
I think Pat is in love.
What makes you say that?
Can you help me carry this downstairs?
No problem.
Ms. Williams made Joe redo his report.
How did you get her to agree to this?
I'll have him call you back as soon as possible.
I'm never going to let you borrow my car again. Let me pay the bill.
No, let's go Dutch. I just heard you mention your thesis and I'm curious.
The other day, I saw Pat and Mr. Lee get into a cab.
Watch me do a dive, Ben shouted to Joe. All of a sudden, Mr. Sato felt the house begin to shake. Mike's favorite goldfish was eaten by a cat.
Garbage is collected twice a week.
Pat was raised overseas until the age of 12. Bill was nearly hit by a motorcycle on his way home. Her novel became a bestseller and was made into a film.
Mike, pull up your zipper or you'll be laughed at.
My place was broken into the other night.
Max was properly looked after and cared for. Kathy is very interested in political and social issues. Nick was completely satisfied with the outcome. Cindy is disappointed at Mike's grades this semester.
How long will you be gone?
A week at most. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
All our goods are made by domestic manufacturers. This oil is made from sesame seeds.
The entire floor is made of marble.
Mr. Sato was caught in traffic on the way to work. The sidewalk was covered with fallen leaves. Bob was known to the police for his antisocial behavior. They got caught in a shower and took shelter in a nearby cafe. This bar gets crowded at night with locals and tourists alike. After the incident, Bob became known as a troublemaker. Pat was given a leather purse for her birthday. At age 10, Mike was told the truth about Santa Claus. Mr. Lee was offered a position at the Malaysian branch. It was named Evans Limited after its founder, Thomas Evans. Pat prefers to be called Ms. Lee rather than Mrs. Lee. Bill's mansion was sold to a local developer.
Our activities are made possible by private contributions.
The warehouse is kept clean and organized at all times. His bike was left unlocked and leaning against a fence. Joe was caught cheating on an exam in his freshman year. The mayor was asked to resign, yet he refused. They were told to watch out for pickpockets and thieves.
No vehicles are allowed to park in this area.
Andy, you are required by law to obey the speed limit.
As a child, Fred was made to memorize certain passages in the Bible. The suspect was seen to leave the premises on foot.
This painting is said to be worth millions of dollars.
Stress is thought to be the main cause of his illness.
Andy, we're supposed to check out by 10.
Hank was known to have a short temper.
In that case, it can't be helped.
Laboratory equipment must be handled with care. Betty, when will we be invited to your new house?
These books have to be returned within 2 weeks.
Fred's diet used to be filled with fat and sugar. Intelligence is believed to be influenced by genetic factors.
Can't you come?
No, my car is being repaired.
No progress was being made in the negotiations.
Don't worry about it. It's been taken care of.
Bill had been seen as a likely successor to Hank. Mike got hit by a bike and had his arm broken. Steve said to Mike, "To love is to suffer. To do two things at once is to do neither. To use a ladder on your own is dangerous. It is dangerous to use a ladder on your own. Max likes to chew on rugs and pillows."
Do you want to send this package by air or sea?
I'm new here and I hope to get along with everyone.
What made you decide to apply for this job?
I hate to say it, but you forgot to turn off the lights again.
Nick, the new CEO, promised to raise their wages. The bank agreed to provide Evans with a long-term loan. All of a sudden, Mr. Sato felt the house begin to shake.
Joe, what are you planning to major in? The question is what to do next and how to do it.
The board will discuss whether to hire a PR firm. Kathy is still wondering which candidate to vote for.
Tell me when and where to meet you and I'll be there.
I need some advice on what size to buy. Would you like something to drink?
No thanks. Bill, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Bob needs someone to look up to and learn from.
I'm looking for a decent hotel to stay at for 2 nights.
I have nothing to write. I have nothing to write with. I have nothing to write on.
What's an inexpensive place to go for a winter break?
I was so busy I had no time to breathe. Highly imaginative is the best way to describe her works.
Bob is saving money to buy a used car.
I haven't had a chance to tell you, but I got a divorce.
Bob had no one to support him. Sandy was the oldest person to win the award. It was the last event to be held at the historic hall.
Mike, be the first to say hello.
I'm here to ask you a favor.
Goals are necessary to achieve success. To find out more, please click the link below. Goals are necessary in order to achieve success.
I'll come and get my stuff later. I'll come get my stuff later.
There's a for sale sign. Let's go and check it out. There's a for sale sign. Let's go check it out. I'm so pleased to meet you at last.
I'm sorry to hear about your injury, Kate. Get well soon. I'm surprised to see you here at this time of day. I'm lucky to have such terrific staff working for me.
Nick was able to persuade everyone but Bill.
Keep up the good work and you are sure to succeed.
Mr. Lee said, "We're not ready to start a family yet."
On the phone, she sounded eager to see you.
Mike, I'm willing to pay you $50 for a month of chores.
Bill was impressed by Nick's ability to solve problems fast. Nick made the decision to cut executive salaries by 20%.
Girls are hard to understand.
In short, he's easy to forget.
Ben is naughty and difficult to deal with.
Dad, the ground is frozen and impossible to dig.
Max grew up to be huge and lived to be 15. He turned around to see Bob and Kate waving at him. She was young enough to work but too old to get a job easily.
To tell you the truth, I'm scared of heights.
So am I. There are problems. To begin with, neither of us has a car.
She's waiting to hear from you. She's waiting for you to ask her out.
They had arranged to go fishing the following morning.
Uncle Ted arranged for Meg to show us around London.
It's natural for teenagers to seek freedom.
When is the best time for couples to travel to Japan?
Is there enough room for everybody to ride comfortably?
The bottle's lid was too tight for Ben to open.
Everything will turn out fine.
That's easy for you to say.
This scholarship enabled Joe to continue his education. Everyone seems to be having fun. Nick is said to be a man of courage and conviction. His grandfather is said to have been a man of wisdom. Hank claimed to have been a friend of Elvis Presley's.
This portrait is thought to have been painted around 1860.
I seem to have lost my way. Where am I on this map?
Betty pretended to have read Shakespeare's Macbeth. Bill decided not to purchase any more stock.
Ben, I told you not to draw on the couch.
My philosophy is never to compare myself with others. My philosophy is to never compare myself with others.
Mike, be careful not to slip and fall.
I'm so sorry not to have kept in touch.
Teaching requires knowledge and commitment.
Betty's favorite pastimes are knitting and sewing.
Mr. Sato, take it easy and enjoy learning English.
Joe wishes to make money without making much effort. Mr. Sato doesn't like speaking in public. Mr. Sato doesn't like to speak in public. Despite such criticism, her books continued to sell well. Despite such criticism, her books continued selling well.
I feel like I'm starting to like this job. I'll never forget meeting Cindy for the first time.
I remember reading about it, but can't recall the details.
Don't forget to switch off your mobile phone. Remember to switch off your cell phone.
I haven't finished talking yet.
Well, I'm finished listening.
It's time to stop talking and start acting. It's time to quit talking and start acting. Why not give up smoking for a month? Follow these instructions to avoid injuring yourself.
I don't mind vacuuming, but I hate cleaning the bathroom.
Every half hour, Ben stopped swimming and took a rest. Every half hour, Joe stopped to check his email. Bob tried pushing the button, but it didn't respond. Andy tried to push the door open, but it was stuck.
Fred, I think your pants need ironing. Sorry for calling so late. Did I wake you up?
Before meeting in person, We exchanged photos.
Since arriving in Miami, Bob has changed jobs 5 times.
This proposal is worth considering.
Mr. Sato is not used to expressing his feelings.
I'm looking forward to meeting you this Friday.
What do you say to having a drink after work?
Max narrowly escaped being run over by Betty's car. Ms. Williams prefers being called by her first name.
I apologize for having bothered you with this.
Having studied Spanish helped her on her trip to Mexico.
This item shows no signs of having been used.
You were kind of rude, if you don't mind me saying so. You were kind of rude, if you don't mind my saying so.
I can't imagine Bob hurting anyone on purpose.
I am tired of my boss yelling at me.
Sandy can't walk anywhere without people recognizing her.
Fred, the best thing for your health is not overeating.
Now and then, Bob regrets not finishing high school.
Please forgive me for not having written to you sooner.
I would like the non-smoking section, please.
The librarian said the lending period is 2 weeks.
Shipping and handling charges are included in the price.
Barking dogs hardly ever bite.
This T-shirt is a walking advertisement for our organization.
We will miss your smiling face. May you rest in peace.
Today I've got some exciting news for you all.
Anyway, it was a boring conversation.
Nick made a rather surprising announcement.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
Phew, teaching small kids is really tiring.
Mike finds math interesting. A bus carrying 30 passengers was heading toward the capital.
Hey, Joe, look at that girl sitting in the corner.
There was a long line of people waiting to get in.
Be careful of the broken glass.
Fred had Betty mend his torn jeans.
Candidates must be fluent in written and spoken English.
We have brochures available for interested customers.
Thousands of excited fans gathered to greet the group. Bob was staring at the ceiling with a bored look on his face. Steve was working at a desk covered with papers and notes.
Families interested in participating can call 582-693-104.
This system helps to prevent crashes caused by human error.
There's no one here called Eric. You have the wrong number.
Betty read a book entitled As I Saw It, written by a woman named Sandy Baker.
It's one of the projects made possible by corporate donations.
Steve strained a muscle lifting a file cabinet. Cindy was unable to reply, shocked by his words.
Our budget is under $25,000, including tax.
Following his military service, Hank took over the family business.
Do you have any suggestions regarding this matter? Do you have any suggestions concerning this matter?
The Smiths are busy preparing for their annual picnic. Joe lay on his stomach reading a Japanese comic book. As always, Mike was in the front yard practicing baseball.
Mike, don't waste time playing video games.
He has trouble focusing on distant objects. Ben is having difficulty adjusting to kindergarten.
Oh my, you aren't going to dress like that, are you?
His flat is in the center of London, surrounded by theaters, restaurants, and pubs.
Arsenal managed to add another goal, making the final score 2-0.
Each participant made a 20-minute presentation followed by a question and answer session. Sandy jumped up and down, surprised and excited. Surprised and excited, Sandy jumped up and down. Sitting across from each other, they were both silent. Opening the fridge door, Steve took out a piece of chicken. Sandy, surprised and excited, jumped up and down. Kathy and Andy, sitting across from each other, were both silent. Born in Hong Kong, Mr. Lee was brought up in Australia. Having drunk a bit, Ted didn't drive himself home. Having been a successful lawyer, Fred knows how to convince people. Having filled the dishwasher, Steve switched it on. Betty passed her driving test, having failed twice before. Not knowing how to react, Steve simply laughed.
This is truly unique, not seen anywhere else.
Ted failed to recognize Kathy, not having seen her for 15 years. Never having been in an earthquake, they were confused. Having never been in an earthquake, they were confused. Removing her shoes, Kathy threw herself on the bed. Seen from the air, the island resembles the letter U.
Your bad luck is nothing compared to mine.
Considering the price, it is a disappointing product.
Judging by his dialect, he's probably from the north.
Sandy hung up the phone, tears running down her cheeks. There being no wind, the surface of the lake was like a mirror. Nick stood still, his arms folded across his chest. Sandy hung up the phone with tears running down her cheeks. Nick stood still with his arms folded across his chest. Ben was running around with no clothes on.
Mike, don't talk with your mouth full.
Have you heard that Evans is in trouble again? Have you heard Evans is in trouble again? Do you really think I can do this?
Absolutely.
My strong point is that I'm always positive. Please tell him that Bill called.
Okay, I'll tell him you called.
Are you sure that it will work?
Positive.
I'm afraid we're all sold out, the clerk said. Mike seems proud that he is no longer treated like a child.
I'm glad you didn't get lost on your way here. I'm sorry I lost my temper. I really am.
It is obvious that this will lead to negative consequences.
It's wonderful you have such a close relationship with your son-in-law.
It is said that Japanese is a difficult language to learn.
It is believed that competition is good for consumers.
I found it strange that neither Pat nor Mr. Lee was around.
One can't deny the fact that we live in a competitive society.
The rumors that Evans is going bankrupt are false.
I have the impression she already has someone in mind.
I don't know if he is married or single. I don't know whether he is married or single.
I'll ask my boss if I can have a day off. I'll ask my boss whether I can have a day off. Mike, can you go see if Joe is up yet?
I'm not sure if I can make it, but I'll try my best. I'm not sure whether I can make it, but I'll try my best.
It wasn't clear if the missing man was alive or dead. It wasn't clear whether the missing man was alive or dead.
The question is whether we have the will to do it. Our success depends on whether we are willing to take risks. I don't know who she is, but she reminds me of my ex-wife.
Bill is reluctant to tell her where the money has gone.
I wonder why Pat chose Mr. Lee instead of Joe.
Please let me know how I can assist you.
What I do is none of your business.
They argued over who should take out the trash.
You know what I mean, right?
What you're saying is quite different from what I heard. It's all up to you, so do whatever you want.
Help yourself to whatever you like.
I'd like to speak to whoever is in charge of recruitment.
This is what I do to stay in shape.
This is how I learned to hold chopsticks. That's why I recommend this drug-free treatment.
This is where we buy the majority of our groceries.
That's when our delivery service is very convenient. Do you know how old she is?
No, how old?
How old do you think she is?
I'd say 24, 25.
Who do you think you are? Some kind of expert? What did you say you were doing on the night of the 4th?
We only employ people who are friendly and outgoing.
Be sure to board a train that stops at every station.
Everything that has a beginning has an end. Betty sued the man whose dog bit her.
This is a region whose economy is growing rapidly.
I have a cousin whose name is the same as yours.
The woman that Pat admires is Miss Williams.
Pick one thing that you like about your appearance.
We have a problem with the software that they sold us.
The woman Pat admires is Miss Williams.
Pick one thing you like about your appearance.
We have a problem with the software they sold us.
Every boy Linda goes out with is slim and good-looking.
Cindy, here's the recipe you asked me about.
This is like the home Luke Skywalker lived in Star Wars.
In his speech, Ted quoted a poet whose name I've forgotten.
Nick was a business consultant whose opinion Bill trusted. Ben often uses words whose meanings he doesn't understand.
This is a region the economy of which is growing rapidly.
Some 1,500 workers, most of whom belong to the union, went on strike. Sandy published 2 novels, both of which sold more than 1 million copies.
It has many benefits, one of which I referred to above.
The house in which Evans was founded is now a museum. At present, it is a disease for which there is no cure. His ancestors were Italians about whom little is known. Linda is the girl with whom Mike fell in love.
St. Andrews is the town in which golf was invented. St. Andrews is the town where golf was invented. Stay away from areas where crime is likely to occur.
It is the month in which they don't eat or drink from sunrise to sunset. It is the month when they don't eat or drink from sunrise to sunset.
Long time no see. When was the last time that we met? Long time no see. When was the last time we met?
The reason why we promote recycling is to help improve the environment. The reason that we promote recycling is to help improve the environment.
There are many ways in which the Internet saves us time. There are many ways that the Internet saves us time. There are many ways the Internet saves us time. Your total is 1965.
Oh, that's the year I was born. The reason I called is that I've got some good news for you.
I can't stand his attitude and the way he acts. Is there any particular place I should go first? Is there anywhere in particular I should go first?
Mr. Lee is a client whom I work with regularly. This is Patricia Sanchez, whom I work with.
The star which we are most familiar with is the sun. The Earth, which moves around the sun, is a planet.
Andy's extremely jealous, which drives me crazy.
He is slightly clumsy, which is why he often gets injured.
Betty is having a baby.
Which means I'm gonna be an uncle.
I consulted my attorney before I signed the contract. Fred suggested seeing a lawyer before I signed it.
Before she signed up, she did a little research online.
Before you sign it, make sure you read it thoroughly. I'm not sure what I want to do after I finish school.
Fred has lost 15 pounds since he began working out.
I didn't notice the difference until you pointed it out.
The lecture was ending when Joe got there.
While you're there, can you get me some batteries?
However, as time passed, his condition grew more serious.
I'll let you know as soon as I find anything out.
Once you've selected an answer, there's no going back. While playing basketball, Joe twisted his ankle. The public tends to panic when facing a major disaster. His goal is to lose another 10 pounds by the time he turns 35. The moment he appeared, everyone burst into laughter.
Mr. Sato, you are better every time I see you.
How do you pass the time now that you are retired?
I've hidden it where no one will find it.
Where there's a will, there's a way, as they say.
Sandy was asked for her autograph wherever she went.
Please feel free to sit anywhere you like.
Mike made up a story because he was afraid of being scolded.
Why did you do that?
Because you told me to. Since you're here, how about doing some sightseeing?
Take care in the woods as the path is narrow in places.
Label the boxes so that you can easily find what you need.
Why do we brush our teeth?
So we don't get cavities.
Do you mind if I smoke?
Well, yes, actually I do mind. Even if I do everything his way, he is still dissatisfied.
You'll get fired if you don't get your work done. You'll get fired unless you get your work done. I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't affect me.
Do as you're told and don't complain.
As I said earlier, I oppose the construction of this highway.
I'm happy with myself just the way I am.
Ben looked like he was about to cry.
Betty behaves as if she were superior to me. Betty behaves as though she were superior to me.
Although it is not without risk, he intends to carry it out.
I managed a smile even though I didn't feel like it. I managed a smile though I didn't feel like it. Fred is an ideal husband, though a little bit boring.
Some sharks give birth to babies, while others lay eggs. Whether we do it now or later, it has to be done sometime. Whether now or later, it has to be done sometime. Our industry is changing, whether we like it or not.
No matter what I say, he always objects.
I can't concentrate on studying, no matter how hard I try.
Whatever choice you make, I'll stand by you.
Don't hesitate to post whenever you have a question. Is he against it?
No, as far as I know, he's for it. This will be a challenging year as far as your career is concerned. I was so busy that I barely had time to catch my breath.
Technology is advancing so quickly that I can scarcely keep up.
Typing is such a basic skill that we take it for granted.
There was so much fog that Bob couldn't make out the road signs.
I miss you a lot. I'll miss you a lot.
Maybe this time you won't be so lucky.
I won't be able to make it on Wednesday. Do you mind if I turn up the heat a little?
Do you know if they will be back in the near future?
Just a moment, I'll check my diary.
I won't let you have your way anymore. Will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
Won't you stay for dinner?
I'd love to, but I can't.
At this rate, we're not going to meet the deadline. What are you going to do over the weekend?
We will be landing shortly. Please remain seated. Will you be joining us for this special occasion?
Will you be sleeping at 11:30 tonight? I have no idea what I'll be doing 10 years from now.
By then, Sandy will have written her third novel. In July, Hank will have been dead for 2 years.
If I visit London again, I'll have been there 4 times.
You'll be a fan of his when you have read his biography.
I can count to 10 in German.
Oh, can you?
I can't thank you enough.
You're very welcome. Hello, can you hear me?
What? Can you speak up? Can somebody translate this into English for me?
You can't sit there, Mike. That table is reserved.
Can I go out and play now?
Not until you've done all this.
Never mind. Anyone can make mistakes.
It can be very windy on top of the mountain.
It can't be that hard. You're just being lazy.
There's the doorbell. Who can it be? There's the doorbell. Who could it be?
May I take your order?
Yes, can I have this and this?
May I eat this cake, Mom?
Yes, you may.
Visitors may not bring food or beverages into the facility.
There may be some room for compromise.
You may not like it, but I'm in charge here.
In order for them to change, we must change first.
Mike, we have to wait in line, okay? Mike, we've got to wait in line, okay?
Almost all employees had to work overtime every day.
You must drop by the next time you are in town.
Even minor complaints must not be ignored. Do I have to bring anything with me?
No, you don't have to. Just show up.
You can't be her son. You must be her grandson.
There has to be a reason for his sudden departure.
Bob has been arrested.
You've got to be kidding.
Shall I help you with your luggage?
Thanks.
When shall we meet? What about the day after tomorrow?
You should take an umbrella with you just in case.
Maybe we shouldn't be together, said Kathy.
What's he like?
Well, how should I put it, odd.
He should be in by now, but I haven't seen him.
He's on another line. It shouldn't take long. Would you like to hold?
You ought to review the figures prior to the conference.
I don't mean to scare you, but you'd better be prepared.
For the time being, we'd better not tell anybody about this.
It was so funny I couldn't help laughing.
Mr. Lee promised Pat that he would always love her.
Ah, there you are. I thought I might find you here.
In those days, you could buy a loaf of bread for 14 cents.
On Sundays, we would often go for a family drive.
There might be something wrong with this PC. There may be something wrong with this PC.
I might be a few minutes late, but I'll be there. I may be a few minutes late, but I'll be there.
Don't open the attached file. It could be a virus. Don't open the attached file. It might be a virus. Don't open the attached file. It may be a virus.
Maybe we could eat out tonight.
Sure, why not? Could you tell me how to fill out this form? Could I speak to Ted Smith?
Certainly. Could I have your name, please? Steve, this could be served in any restaurant.
I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
Me too.
How do you feel now?
I couldn't be happier. If you eat now, you won't be able to eat dinner.
You must be able to speak English for this job. You have to be able to speak English for this job.
I haven't been able to sleep well for the past few days.
I wonder whether I was able to make myself understood.
He wasn't able to fall asleep due to the pain in his back. He couldn't fall asleep due to the pain in his back.
Will you get the door? It must be Fred.
Okay, I'll get it.
Would you get the door? It must be Fred.
Okay, I'll get it.
Would you mind waiting outside?
Not at all. What would be a good anniversary present for Betty?
There's no use talking to Joe. He wouldn't listen.
I would not invest in gold at the current price.
Which would you like, beef or fish?
Beef, please.
Would you like me to make a copy of this?
Coffee or tea?
I'd prefer coffee, thanks.
Please have a seat.
No, thank you. I'd rather stand.
How much do you weigh?
I'm sorry, I'd rather not say.
You're right. I should have given it more thought.
What should I have said differently?
I have something for you.
Oh, you shouldn't have. I mailed it on Friday, so it should have gotten there on Monday. You must have had a nightmare, Bill.
I sure did. Now that I think about it, I may have been wrong. Now that I think about it, I might have been wrong.
As you may or may not have heard, Bill has announced his resignation.
You idiot! You might have died.
I mailed it on Friday, so it should have gotten there by now.
You could have at least called me.
I was going to.
Do you realize that you could have died? Betty couldn't have said that. She is too polite. Betty can't have said that. She is too polite.
How was your vacation?
Couldn't have been better. Don't mention it. You'd have done the same.
You could have told me this in advance. I wouldn't have said anything to anyone.
Without your assistance, we would never have been able to overcome our difficulties.
I would have liked a larger refrigerator, though.
If you were my age, you might think otherwise.
If he were here, I could count on him for anything. If he was here, I could count on him for anything.
If you won millions in the lottery, would you still work?
I wouldn't fly that airline again, even if they paid me.
If you were to win millions in the lottery, would you still work? If you should win millions on the lottery, would you still work?
If it hadn't been on sale, I wouldn't have bought it.
His life might have been a lot easier if he had pursued the other path.
I could have warned you if you'd asked.
Had it not been on sale, I wouldn't have bought it.
His life might have been a lot easier had he pursued the other path.
If I had studied economics, I might understand this.
If only you had followed the map, we wouldn't be lost. If I were you, I would have informed the crew immediately.
If Mr. Sato spoke better English, he could have gotten the job. Betty is on a diet. She wishes she were thinner. Betty is on a diet. She wishes she was thinner.
I wish I had your talent.
I wish I could give it to you. Looking back, I wish I had spent more time enjoying myself.
Joe wishes that Cindy would stop involving herself in his affairs.
Would it be all right if I took tomorrow off?
Would you mind if I turned the radio on?
I would be grateful if you would send me an estimate by fax.
I was wondering if you could give me a ride. I wonder if I could copy your notes.
Sure, go ahead.
If you mix red, blue, and yellow, you get brown. If he was embarrassed, he didn't show it.
You'll get fired if you don't get your work done. You must be a genius if you were able to figure that out.
I hope that I'm not disturbing you, am I?
No, not really.
I hope I didn't keep you waiting long.
No, I just got here. I hope you'll think it over and change your mind.
It is expected to be sunny throughout the week.
Ben, it's getting dark. Come back inside.
How far is it to the beach?
It's no more than a 10-minute walk. No, this one's on me. It's my turn.
Oh, if you insist.
Now, go to sleep. It's way past your bedtime. Guess what day it is today? It's my birthday.
It's time we got a new washing machine.
It's been almost a year since Hank died. It's been almost a year since Hank's death.
How long is it since you last replaced it? It will be years before these investments yield profits.
It was a long time before he got used to his new surroundings.
Would it be possible to put it off till the end of March?
It's fun being here. We all like it here.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, too. Bye. It's no use talking to Hank. He is so stubborn.
I often find it hard to get out of bed in the morning. I often find it hard getting out of bed in the morning.
This book makes it easy for beginners to master daily English.
It's natural for teenagers to seek independence.
It's very nice of you to come see me off.
My pleasure.
Is it true that Perez turned pro in high school?
It's fortunate you have a job that pays well.
It seems that Mr. Sato smiles to conceal his feelings.
Don't take it for granted that your income will keep rising.
It's amazing how you can come up with such brilliant ideas. It doesn't matter who scores, so long as we win.
It makes no difference whether you are male or female. Wouldn't it be nice if we could celebrate Christmas together?
I'd appreciate it if you got back to me on this. I hate it when my parents say, "Because I said so."
Perez defeated Burns in the final. It was Perez that defeated Burns in the final. It was Burns that Perez defeated in the final. It was in the final that Perez defeated Burns.
It's not quantity but quality that counts.
It was Perez that defeated Burns in the final. It was Perez who defeated Burns in the final.
My father got me interested in architecture. It was my father that got me interested in architecture. It was my father who got me interested in architecture.
This feature makes the device easier to use. It is this feature that makes the device easier to use. It is this feature which makes the device easier to use.
Joe, what is it about manga that attracts you so much?
Who was it that said, "The unexpected always happens"?
Why is it that the girls I like never like me back?
You look prettier with your hair down.
Oh, do I?
Wikipedia is the largest encyclopedia ever created.
Ms. Lee, which is more important, grammar or vocabulary?
It's one of the most famous and popular Spanish dishes.
We will look into the matter more closely.
I'm visiting today to introduce our newest product.
Which route will get me there the fastest? Which route will get me there fastest?
The doctor examined Hank's liver most carefully. The doctor examined Hank's liver the most carefully. You are to choose the best response to each statement. She is best remembered for her role in the movie Psycho.
I'm feeling better now. Thanks for your concern.
They were in the middle of the worst financial crisis.
What if Hank gets worse while I'm away?
I did best in geography and worst in biology.
A prize will be given to whoever sells the most tickets.
You're right. I should have given it more thought.
He is the youngest of all and has the least experience.
To find out more, please click the link below.
If I had drunk less, I wouldn't have a hangover.
Of all the subjects, Mike hates PE the most.
Now let's talk less and work more.
Most accidents happen when you least expect them.
Could you show me something less expensive?
Nowadays, food prices are getting higher and higher. They say students are reading less and less.
Urban transportation systems are becoming more and more complex.
The taller of the two boys is Ben and the other, Tim. Mike worked all the harder because he was praised.
As for telling your folks, the sooner the better.
The more people I meet, the more I love my dog, said Fred.
You're better at this than me. You're better at this than I am.
His wife Naomi speaks English better than him. His wife Naomi speaks English better than he does. Some architects get less attention than they deserve. The world is much smaller than it was even a decade ago.
I wish I were as slender as her. I wish I were as slender as she is.
To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. You can repeat each lesson as many times as you wish.
In fact, it's not as simple as that.
Oh, isn't it?
Joe is not as cool as he thinks he is. Joe doesn't spend as much money as he used to on comics.
The man on my right was as big as a sumo wrestler.
Its population is twice as large as that of Los Angeles. Its population is 2 times as large as that of Los Angeles.
This disease strikes men 4 times as often as women.
This town has half as many residents as it did in the 1950s.
I work twice as much as he does and earn 2/3 as much.
Your summary should be 1/3 to 1/4 as long as the original text.
Roughly, India is 1/3 the size of America and half the size of Australia.
This disease strikes men at 4 times the rate of women.
Your summary should be 1/3 to 1/4 the length of the original text.
It has a diameter approximately 100 times that of Earth. College tuition is now 5 times what it was back then.